Nico, first of all, just how does it feel sort of had a couple of days off, a refresh, a little bit of a break to sort of take a breath, I guess?
Yeah, felt great, obviously. I think just taking some time off the ice, clearing your mind a bit, and just spending a lovely Christmas. So it's always important, the rest. So I think it was very, very important 3 days for us. And now we're back at it. It went quick, but it was still a great break.
And, you know, when you sort of have these breaks, you use them as a time to reset, but do you use them as a time to sort of refocus on what needs to happen going forward as well? Like, I know you want to step away from the game, right?
I mean, I try to, me personally, I try not to focus too much on anything in hockey. And when the time comes again, you're back in it, and you know, like, kind of know already, like, what you need to do. So, like, I think I'm personally just trying not to think any hockey in those breaks.
What about just sort of coming out of a break? You know, everyone's been off for a while to get those legs moving again, and knowing with this group how important those, you know, opening minutes are for a team.
Yeah, I think whoever finds their game tonight first wins the game, and after breaks, it's always the case, I feel like, and we're trying to build something good here again, coming from a break and get on a roll. And we know it's not going to be easy. Everything is so tight, but makes it fun too. So we got to embrace that challenge and try to get better here, starting with here tonight against Washington.
And I guess also embrace the fun of it, right? Because it can be tough when you're going through a difficult stretch, but just remember how much fun it is, right?
Exactly. Yeah. You at the end of the day, that's what matters. But obviously, winning is more fun, but you can't focus too much on that. You gotta enjoy the whole process. You gotta enjoy the grind of it, the ups and downs, and like we said, to never try to get too high or too low, and have a nice rhythm throughout the season, and so you can be the best team as possible coming towards the end, and we're trying to build that here.
And then lastly, just you mentioned the word process, and it's something that Brader has talked about a lot too, just this idea of needing a lot more offense from everybody, right? You guys are capable of scoring more goals, and do you feel that it's almost there, that you guys are sticking to that right process, and it's a game of inches, right? Because you're probably capable of scoring more.
Of course, yeah. Sometimes they go in, sometimes they don't. What we can control is doing this process, right, to scoring goals, which starts ozone plays, go to the net, stop at the net, try to make those pucks fall in our way, and what you can't do is get too frustrated and grip your sticks, and that's sometimes easier said than done, but you got to find that balance there.
First of all, Dilly, how was your Christmas with your two little girls?
Christmas was great. Yeah, it's awesome. I think it's the best time of year, holiday season. A little snow outside today, so everyone had a lot of fun. Santa visited our place, so everyone's happy.
Santa was good to everybody?
Santa was great. I don't think there's been a Christmas that Santa hasn't been good to the Dillon family, so no complaints.
Obviously, it's important, you know, especially with the way the schedule has been, to just sort of have a break, even though it was just 3 days. How do you feel coming into today after those 3 days off?
Yeah, you're excited. I think it's similar to the summer and the off season when the disappointment or the frustrations of kind of how the first half's gone for us. I think nobody in this room is happy with how it's gone. We've had our fair share of whether it's just rough stretches or injuries where we've just not really played. We had a great start to the year. I think that's something that we want to hang our hat on and be able to revert back to here is almost like kind of a fresh start. Christmas time being, Sheldon said this morning, kind of the halfway point of the season. So not exactly, but roughly with kind of how the three day break ends up being, for us to just kind of have a reflection period on the first, whatever it's been, 30 some odd games. I think though you're excited to come back to the rink, you're excited to get on the ice this morning, you're excited to see all your teammates and guys, and get the competitive juices going again and raring to go, and right off the hop against interdivision team, a team similar to where we are in the standings, and ultimately a big 2 points and getting us back rolling, hopefully.
Can you remember a time in your career where at this point of the season, the standings have been, one day you're in, one day you're out, we're already in, close to January?
It's crazy, it really is. I haven't been a part of something like this where so many teams are really right in the thick of it. As you said, you win 2 or 3 games, all of a sudden you're in a playoff spot. You know, you lose one, you're out of the playoffs or in a wild card spot. So parity and everything about it, you got it, in our league. And I think any given day, any team can beat any team. A goaltender gets hot, a power play gets hot, whatever it is, team scoring goals. It's the NHL these days, and even more so for us to understand the importance of every play, every period, every shift.
Do you feel that, you were sort of talking about what Sheldon said about, like, basically the first half, even though the numbers don't quite add up, which is fine, but what do you think the biggest moment of reflection needs to be from what you guys have done in that first half going forward, or maybe things to keep in the back of your mind?
I think when we were winning, that 7-8 game stretch, there was a bunch of those 1-goal overtime games. We had whatever it was, stretch of 4 or 5 games going overtime. Just the importance, I felt like it was, whether there was 5 minutes left in a game, we were down 1 goal, up 1 goal, tied. We just understood the game management of it, that, just getting to overtime, there's merit in that. Just, staying above players, like the importance of checking, of a block shot, of a good stick, of a penalty kill. Our penalty kill was second in the league last year. We had such importance of it and such a, and this year it's slipped. I think our special teams or something. I think our, importance of just, burying that extra chance we get off a rebound, or, making sure that power play, gets it, whatever the case might be. Just the importance of stuff. And I think during that stretch of the 8-game win streak of that, whatever it was, early November, it was really, it was going well for us, and the margin of error with which we just talked about of the parity of the league, and 1 goal, costing you 2 points, or teams on back-to-backs. Nobody's given anybody easy points, so I think the recognition of just how important every game is, every period is, and even though we're only at the halfway point, it's next thing you know, we're going to be 10 games left in the season, so just the importance of it.
Thanks, Billy. Appreciate it. Sheldon, first of all, hoping you had a nice holiday break. I know for you, for everyone involved in just the intensity of what this schedule has been like, I'm sure it felt good to just sort of have a breather.
Yeah, for sure. It's been tough to have that type of a break and breather, as much as it's a holiday season and it goes by in a blur, because you're busy with family, and in my case some travel added in there, so it goes fast, but at the same time it's nice. And I know a lot of our players, for the most part, all remained here and had great times with their family and time to decompress, and I'll get back at it.
Is it a good sort of gauge of, I know it's not quite the right math, but first half, second half of the year kind of situation, and what you're hoping to replicate and maybe move on from in a way?
Yeah, it's kind of, unofficial, a halfway point, I think, is kind of how you look at these kind of things. So yeah, I think you do a little bit of reflection on kind of what you've been through and where you're at and where you need to go. And for us, I think the thing that all the teams in the league are taking away from this first portion of the season is just how tight it is, how good everybody is, and how every game is tight and up for grabs, and how every point matters. And for us, even though it's a short break, but it's a break nonetheless. It feels like a long break in a season like this. So it's a chance for us, to focus on getting back to our game quickly, and getting a good start here coming out of this little break would be important for us.
When we were on Long Island, you talked about the importance for you of that familiarity of your forward group, just sort of, you had rejigged some of those lines. Again, sticking with that today. Did you like what you saw, and is that familiarity important, especially coming out of a break like that?
I didn't really like what I saw, to be honest, but I don't think that's because of the lines or anything like that. I just don't know that we played to our potential the way that we can. But I do think familiarity is important, especially here as we're reintegrating, especially Jack and Gritsik, who are coming back from injuries. Team obviously missed time, but for guys coming back from injuries who hadn't been skating, hadn't been working, hadn't competing, hadn't been practicing, it's important to give them some stability with line mates and all of that. So all those kind of things we're hoping can pay off here as we get back to it.
the significance of really those maybe opening 5 minutes of a game coming off of a break, setting your own tone. Nico said, whoever gets to their games first tonight is going to win this game.
Yeah, we feel that way, and not just for the game, but just also just this next little stretch. I know we got a couple practice days in between playing again after this, but I just I think anytime you come out of a break, it'll be the same as we approach the Olympic break and then come out of that one. It's going to be the team that gets going, gets positive momentum, will be kind of getting a leg up. You look at how we started the regular season. I think we kind of got a leg up on a lot of teams in the league and got us some real good momentum. So we'd like to be able to put ourselves in a similar situation.
While you haven't scored a lot of goals, the team hasn't given up a lot of goals lately. So what about the defensive structure that you like that you can maybe hang your hat on for the rest of the way? Yeah,
I mean, I think there's been good attention to detail, and particular our recoveries. I think they're still making mistakes. I mean, this is a game of mistakes. But it's the second, third efforts where guys can kind of clean them up for one another or clean up your own mistake by kind of digging in and recovering. And then our goaltending has been strong, which helps, give everybody a little more confidence defensively. So we like that, but we obviously haven't been perfect. I mean, you look at how we lose the game in our last time out, and that's not great defending coming out of the offensive zone and back into our D zone. So that kind of stuff costs you, and it just shows how tight it is, and whether it's 0-0, 1-1, or it's 5-5, it's games you got to expect are going to be tight, and therefore we just have to be very consistent and diligent with it.
Yeah, and even in the beginning part of that Islander game, there were some grade A chances, but Markey was able to turn them aside. So, what have you seen from him as he recovers finally from that injury? Sometimes it takes longer than you might think.
Yeah, I think if we learned anything from Markey last season, it does take a little bit. Both at the start of the seasons and coming out of injuries, he's a guy that likes his reps, likes to be in the net, and likes to get in a rhythm. And with injuries, it's tough. And then also you pair that with the fact that Jake Allen's played so well. But with that said, I think he should have a lot of confidence coming out of his most recent performances here. I think he's stacked up some pretty good ones and seems to be in a good groove. Maybe for a guy like him, the break doesn't come at the best time, but I think he's not going to play here today, so it would be a good opportunity for him to get some practice reps and get going from there as we approach the rest of the schedule.
Going back to your days as a player, how long after a win do you ride the high? How long after a loss do you ride the low? And what do you do to come back to neutral in time for the next game?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a tricky one. I don't know that there's any consistency to that. I think it's very circumstantial. At the end of the day, you like to be even keel. You like to be able to kind of reset off of each game. But at the same time, when you get going on a positive and you're getting wins, it's everyone's a little happier. Everyone's got a little extra jump in their step, and things seem to fall into place a little bit quicker. It's harder to snap at it, but that's part of the coach's job is to keep everyone grounded in the process and embracing that and enjoying that and not get caught up too much in the results. More so just embracing the things that you need to do to give yourself a chance at success. But it's always easier to do when you're on the winning side of it, no question.